Welcome one and all to the Mudai Manga Book Club podcast. Today's episode 17, Proper Hair Care is a Matter of Life and Death. My name is Louie and I'm joined by my co-host.
Yes, the greatest thing that I have done these last 2 weeks was standing with a crowd of 60,000 people in a stadium singing out as loud as I physically can. Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
Tom!
They not like us. They not like us. Oh, hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of the show. This is definitely about anime and manga. Yep. We're not going to talk about anything else.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't listened before, we talk about two main things every week. First, we're going to go over things we've been reading, things we've been watching, things we've been listening to. Hint, hint. And also, we're going to do a review of DandaDan Acrobatic Silkie arc, which is the second major arc of DandaDan. So, Tom, what have you been up to?
Well, because somebody asked to not record last Wednesday. It was me. I asked for that because my throat hurt and I was really tired.
Yes.
So,
yes,
I admit it. It's my fault. Wait a minute. I'm the editor. I can just make you say that it's your fault and admit it.
It is not my fault. It's my fault we didn't record on Thursday.
You just said it. You just said it's my fault. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Excellent. But anyway, yeah, I didn't end up reading a ton, despite having 2 weeks. It's only like 6 books, but I did read a couple of things. Some of the stuff that had come out recently. Realist, How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, Volume 12 of the manga. Again, I've already read the novels for this, so I sort of know everything. It's the Holy King arc when the not Christianity country tries to get King Soma to become the Holy King and take the saint candidate to be an advisor or a wife or a something.
Interesting.
It's starting to move into some of the better parts of the story when like he is now a king and stuff happens. It's fine. The manga version does a good job, just like the novel did. It also is one of the first big parts where when I was reading the original novels, this part of the story was also big because it was, nowadays it's more common, but I remember a lot of old anime and manga where like the characters' relationships just sort of stagnated. They basically did Simpsons, where at the end of every episode, it was back to exactly where it started. Mm-hmm. And this story was good because at this point, you start seeing it's like, oh, he doesn't just get more fiancés/wives. Like, there's a specific part in this where Soma and Licia, like, literally, there is a part in the series for an actual reason, start having sex. And, that's not... There's a whole plot point where that happens and it makes sense, and it's not nearly as crass or dark as it, but it's like, oh, I see what's going on here. I see what this other country's trying to do. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. And also, like, I don't want to just live like this. Like, let's actually have a relationship. And that all snowballs. It's a interesting part of the series, and it's a strong sense of there will be things moving forward. And I can tell you from the rest of the series, like, his kids show up and are part of the story going forward. So it's not like, just like they have an actual physical relationship now. Like, no, there's a point to it and it keeps going from here. But that was something that was really nice. Manga did a fine job, and it's got through most of that, and it gets into the Dragon arc, which is going to come up in the next book. So it was good.
So how far into the light novel is that?
Book 5?
I think there's 8, 10. How many light novels are there?
19.
Oh, okay. So yeah, not even close.
Yeah. No. It's way... The light novels are much, much farther ahead. The enemy that they fight in book 19 in the last major battle, the place he's comes from hasn't even been mentioned yet.
Oh, okay.
And it won't be in the light novel point. It wouldn't have even been mentioned in the next book. It would have been in the book after this, maybe 2 books after it. It's quite early in the series because the series is really long. It is 19-20 volumes. They're on manga volume 12, and they're in volume 5 of the light novels.
Oh, okay.
They're starting volume 6 with the next manga volume, if they haven't technically started it in this one. I don't remember exactly where the cutoff is, but
Okay.
End of volume 5, start of volume 6. But
Nice.
it's good. Art's still great.
Good.
Beyond that, I also read... Skip to some easier, shorter ones.
Okay.
Free Run 13. New one. Free Run just came out.
Yes.
It's really good. I'm enjoying it. It kind of ends... 12 ended on kind of a middle of something. 13 starts off and finishes that in like 2 chapters. So it's like, oh, they're done with that. Okay.
You're talking about that weird time skip thing?
The time travel thing is resolved. And then they go back to it. And it feels like the next arc is started up, but there's a bunch of small 1 or 2 chapters of interesting things in the past. It's good. It feels like it's going to have been better after the next book, and you can see more of like, oh, they talked about this because they're going to talk about it more in the next one.
Okay.
And there's some stuff with some of the other first-class magicians are coming back for a big thing.
Oh, some of the other ones that were shown before?
Yeah.
Nice.
Frieren gets involved in something with them again.
Okay, yep.
It's good. It's a connecting point. And the time travel thing is good, and it has a nice ending to it. But I thought it was going to go a lot longer than it did. There's actually not that much more.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's only 2 more chapters of it.
I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't really want to say what happens. But what I will say is it feels like it ends, and it's going to be something that's going to be brought up again later.
Okay.
This isn't the last we're going to talk about this, but the actual time that she spends in the past is almost over. But there's going to be some little thing that's here that happens in this point where in like 3 books it's like, oh, surprise. The fact that she got socks is going to change the universe. Or no, there are no socks. I'm not spoiling anything. Okay, relax. But something small that she's going to have found out because of this is going to have some implication later. But the actual time travel part kind of ends pretty soon. But it's fine. It's fun. There's nothing bad with it, but it's just like, oh, we don't know why we're doing this. We're not finding out why this is important. It's just going to end. They're going to go back to their adventures. But it's a good set of series, and it gives you a good sense of the old party, too, and seeing them be really cool.
Nice. I will have probably read it by the next episode.
Yeah, it's good. It's not it's not going to be a super high point. There's nothing in it that I would say is bad either. It's a good volume.
Nice. Okay.
Then we have next Peddler in Another World Volume 10 and Hero in the Sage Volume 4. So I'm bringing these 2 together because they made me really think about this. So Peddler in Another World 10, last time we talked, it was the end of the 2-parter, and I was like, oh man, I really hope there's something sort of like a romance actually showing up in this series. Well, guess what? There's not. But the character who was involved with the romance continues to go with them on adventures. So there's the hint that maybe someday, possibly, there might be something. But not really. They go off to the land of demons. Shiro and Kill for the Cat Girl and Karen the mayor and Celes the demon and a bunch of other people all go to the land of the demons for several different reasons. Hey, it turns out there's a horrible evil people doing evil things, and they sort of get introduced. It feels like it's a full adventure, and it just rips from chapter 1 to the end. Like, I could not put it down. It was just going and going and going. It's like, okay, this is really fun. New characters that are brought in. You get to learn all about the demons. You get to see Shiro and Karen and Celes and a bunch of the other characters like be the good people that they are, and you get to meet what's probably going to be the new bad guy for a lot of the next part of the series, and it just goes. Like, it's not constant tension, but it just never stops being a lot of fun, and it's just absolutely just ripped through it in a day, even though it's like a whole novel. It's really good. I say that because Hero in the Sage, which has been one of my new favorite series, that came out like 3-4 weeks ago, and I finally finished it because it's the complete opposite. Book 3 ends with like, oh man, you want to know how they got reincarnated and who the actual person who did it is? Well, we're going to tell you, and then drop a cliffhanger. And book 4 is like, it's telling you the rest of the cliffhanger. And it just took forever.
That's too bad.
It's good. You learn a lot. You learn all the stuff that's happening. Luria and Raid and how they got reincarnated 1,000 years ago and how they got their crazy powers back in the 1,000 years ago. You find out that, which is even more crazy on top of it. And you find out like why Raid can't use magic and why Luria had all this magic and who sent them forward in time. Mm-hmm. And who these crazy people from the last book who showed up at the end out of nowhere are. And there's supposed to be this huge battle where they have to defeat an army that wants to kill them and everybody that they know. And if they do, they succeed. But if they're going to fail, they can kill themselves and still succeed. How do you win a fight where you can't kill your enemy, but your enemy wants to kill you? And if either one of you dies, you lose. And that's the whole, like, big battle of this.
Okay.
And eventually, 3/4 of the way through, it actually, like, starts picking up again. Like, it just draws out a lot. There's some really great parts in it. Some of the other countries that exist in the world that they've talked about and some of the other characters that have been mentioned. There's nothing bad about it, but it just kind of is really slow. But, again, like Peddler, the end of it, you get a sense of, oh, this is going to be the bad guys for the next couple of books. And it's not how you think it's going to be. Dian, the evil hero, is a really interesting character, and where it ends up at the end is it's going to be a fun story. And it's exactly what Hero of the Sage feels like so far. But it's like, it's real slow. I'm like, okay. First 2 books were so good. I was expecting this one to just be so good, but it's not. But you want to know what is good? Ayla sometimes has her feeling in Russian. I'm not going to get to the concert yet. Ayla sometimes has her feeling in Russian. Volume 7. For reasons that we both know, and you can probably guess because we make this joke every time. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but book 7 just came out. And there's a lot of like interpersonal stuff that's gone on with Masachika and Maria and Ayla and Yuki and all of that. So the school festival was like the last 2 books, and this is like, okay, that part's done. That was an extremely long time for like 3 weeks and then 2 days. And it's like, okay, now that's done. So this is like slightly spread out and more of things are going to start happening and moving forward. And does Ayla actually like Masachika? Does Masachika actually like Ayla? How does Maria feel about all this? All these other characters and like who they are and what they're feeling. But it's still extremely well written, very funny, but it's definitely a in-betweener type book until the very end when there's an actual like event. And it's the same as everything, but I'm saying anything about it is again fast spoilers for the last 2 books. So it's kind of like, I can't really tell you anything if you haven't read books 5 and 6. And if you have read those and you haven't read 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5.
You should read the other ones.
It won't make sense without those, but it's very good. It's continuing to be great. Last 2 things, Kowloon Generic Romance. I just picked up the first book randomly. It's a little seinen manga about Kowloon Walled City, which is...
sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a place in Hong Kong where in the real world it was a walled city and it was like 36,000 people in like a few dozen acres of land. It was like the highest population density on Earth. So it was all high rises and everyone was crammed in there. It's not set in our Earth exactly, and it's not exactly clear if it's in the future or set in like the 80s. It's very weird.
Okay. Is it a new book?
It's new-ish. It's currently still being serialized right now.
Oh, okay.
There's about 9 books available in English, but it's about 2 people. Well, mostly at this point, it's about 2 people, Reiko and Hajime, who work at a real estate agency, and they're both in their 30s. They're both smokers, and most of the first book is Reiko starting to realize she has feelings for Hajime, her coworker, and like their misadventures. But there's all these really weird moments. Like at one point they go on a not date and Hajime takes her to a really nice bar. And the bartender is like, oh, it's so nice to see you again with someone after it's been so long since I've seen you. And your new girlfriend looks almost like your last girlfriend. I'm sorry, what? New girlfriend almost looks like my last girlfriend? What? And when I say that, that sounds like either a stupid romantic comedy, which it's kind of, but not really, or a horror series, which it's not. But let me put it to you this way. At the end of book 1, Reiko finds out who Hajime's old girlfriend is.
Mm-hmm.
And something like this has been set up. But when you see who it is, it's like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any fucking sense. What? And that's where book 1 ends. It's very good. Here's the thing. I think it's listed in one of its genres as like science fiction.
Yeah.
And in a lot of this, like, there doesn't seem to be anything about that. It's a lot about nostalgia, and this city is run down, but it's like what people think the city's supposed to be, so they try to keep it that way. And they're doing a lot of stuff just like trying to keep the city, they're just trying to keep things working. Like, there's one chapter where they're going and fixing an old apartment, but it doesn't have any air conditioning, and it's like 97 with like 100% humidity. And they're just in there painting and dealing with that. And it is very much a seinen series. There are very obviously points where it's just like, this is just softcore porn. It's like, okay. Yeah, for just this scene, it's just going to be like, yep, here's the girl like doing something in poses that make total logical sense, but are framed in just that way, just because.
Just because, yeah.
But the actual story behind it, like, book 1 ends on a absolute clearly going to be doing this. This is the moment you see it. It's like, okay, yeah, I kind of saw this coming, but still, I have no idea what the hell is going on. Kind of a moment.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to get more. I'm definitely going to read more of it, but I don't feel comfortable spoiling what that is yet, because it's kind of a good moment and it makes things very weird.
Okay.
It's been fun. It's been like just a nice little entertaining story so far.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but I went to see Kendrick Lamar and SZA at the Grand National Tour at Foxborough because, holy crap, that was amazing. Oh my God. I will not spend this entire episode talking about this, even though I want to. For those of you who don't know, in the US right now, Kendrick Lamar and SZA, two musical artists. Kendrick Lamar is a rapper, and SZA is like an R&B singer, I think you would say.
Probably. That's probably pretty close.
Yeah. They used to be part of the same record label. Kendrick Lamar now has his own, but they were in the same label for a long time. They've done a bunch of songs together, but they are on their current tour, which is the Grand National Tour, which is now broken the record for the highest grossing rap performance at a single location.
Nice.
Twice. They broke the record a month ago, and then they broke their own record a month later, and they still haven't made it to like LA where he's from until today.
Yeah.
So they might be about to break it again.
Probably.
But it was absolutely amazing. We haven't talked much about it, although I've mentioned the whole Kendrick and Drake beef from last year and things like that. Kendrick is one of my favorite musical artists, one of my top 5 rappers for, a lot of reasons. He's really good. He's quite good. He's pretty talented. He's pretty good. He won a Pulitzer Prize. There's that. But just going to the show, going to see them live at Gillette Stadium.
Had you seen a concert there before?
At the stadium, no.
Okay.
I don't go to concerts. I don't go to live music. I don't generally like live music because I like that perfected final performance. That's why I like books. That's why I like comics. I don't like movies, but like I like the concept of movies. Like you've had the time to craft it exactly how you want it.
Yeah.
And like that sort of like live performance doesn't, or it's like, oh, but it's live. You can see them doing it. It's like, I don't really care, but it was so good.
Nice.
Traffic was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
It was like a 3.5 hour drive there.
Oh.
And after we got out, we sat in our car for half an hour before I turned the car on to then sit for another half an hour before we got on the road to get out of the parking lot.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess.
Surprise.
Because at least when you see a football game, some people check out early. So, but no one's going to do that at a concert.
No, there was definitely a handful of people who did. And I was like,
okay.
Oh, why would you want to do that? And then I went through the traffic like, now I understand exactly why you did that.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely amazing. fantastic performances.
Nice.
The stage and presentation, irrespective of the music, which I also think is amazing, but their costumes and the stages and all the things that he did as part of the show to make it. It was something that, even though I was not sitting that close, you could still see what was going on. And there was just some amazing stuff, like SZA, like in this giant dress, like then getting lifted up like 30, 40 feet into the air with the dress going all the way down to the floor still, and like flying around still singing.
Nice.
And then like halfway through that song, like the dress gets cut off and like butterfly wings come out of her back. It's like, what? Pyrotechnics, all kinds of crazy stuff. Cool. Absolutely amazing concert. Was fantastic. Yeah, that's going to be the highlight of my year at this point.
Nice.
It will be on my list of top 5 books this year. Is a rap concert.
I read the program.
Yeah, they gave me a ticket. It has words on it. Yeah. That counts.
Nice. Glad you like it.
Oh, it was just so amazing, so fantastic.
How long was the concert?
So it started at 7.
Okay. 7
to like 7:45. DJ Mustard, who made the beats for Not Like Us. Yeah. Which is now the longest charting rap song on the Billboard Hot 100 current most popular individual songs ever.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty popular.
Yeah.
He made the music for that, and he made the music for TV Off. So he did like a DJ set. It was good. Then the concert started at 8 and it went to about 11:15.
Okay.
The thing that I think helped that is it was Kendrick Lamar and SZA, and they had songs they did together. Mm-hmm. But like one would come out, do like 5 or 6 songs. Then the other would come out, they'd do one duet song, and then the other one, that first one would leave, and then they would stay out and do 5 or 6 songs.
It'd switch off.
Yeah, so they could keep bouncing back and forth.
Okay.
And so they could have time to like take a break, do costume changes, like organize stuff. Nice. And it was absolutely amazing show. Like I won a DVD and I was there. Yeah.
Cool.
So just amazing. How about you? What have you been up to?
Okay, so a really short list, even though it's been 2 weeks, just because of stuff that's been going on. So, first big one that I read as soon as I got it was Eden Zero number 31.
Never heard of it.
No, yeah.
Oh wait, no, I read it last
episode
time.
was a blur. It's really good. It is slowly tying up all the loose ends of the story that's spanned the previous 30 books. So yeah, I can't talk much about it without spoiling a lot of stuff. Just know that it's getting close to the end. There are fewer and fewer story things that need to be explained now, and now there's a big decision that has to happen, and no idea which way it's going to go yet. Without looking it up online, but yeah.
Surprise.
So,
everything is spoilers.
Yes, everything is spoilers now. So there's 2 books left. I think the next one, it's up for pre-order on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, I think the last one comes out in September, so it's coming out soon.
It comes out at the end of July. It is book 32. And then, 33 comes out the end of September. And that is the final book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's announced another series yet.
I don't think so. They usually take some time after finishing something.
Because I think he has other things he's writing, but nothing on the scale of Eden Zero, Fairy Tale, or anything like that.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's really good.
Oh, he did start something else.
He did?
I don't think it's out in English yet, though. Nope. It came out a month ago. It's called Dead Rock. I haven't read it.
Huh.
It has 4 books so far. I think he might have... I don't know the overlap time frame for Eden Zero, because I don't actually remember when the serialization ended. Because then the books come out. Oh, okay, so he might have started this while Eden Zero was wrapping up.
He did, but it's also a monthly.
That's what it is. Okay.
Dead Rock is not a weekly, it's a monthly series.
Okay. That's how he's able to do it then. Okay. Yeah. I haven't read that yet. So, yeah, Eden 031, good. Can't talk about it, or else you'll spoil most of the previous books.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some crazy things going on.
Yes.
Yes. So that's the... Okay, so I've read other stuff, but we'll talk about those in a second. So then I started I got Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is a port slash, it's not a remake. It's not really a remaster. I guess it's kind of like a remaster slash port of the one that came out in the Wii U. So have you played Xenoblade Chronicles? Do you know Xenoblade at all?
I know of it and I know a bit about it, but I've never played it.
Okay. So for anyone who doesn't know, Xenoblade is a sci-fi story that takes place in another world. The Switch had 3, now 4. So there's Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3. I think the first one came out on the Wii U as well, but they brought that over to the Switch. So 1, 2, and 3, they cover... It's a mix of sci-fi, fantasy, takes place in another world. There's some technicals, like techno-civilization stuff, and some biological things, but the story gets really weird. They're really long, but they're like very RPG-heavy, cool stories and things like that.
Yep.
But then on the Wii U, they also had Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is less fantasy. It's pretty much... So the story starts off where you have Earth, and then 2 alien races show up in the sky above Earth and fight each other, and Earth is just stuck in the crossfire. And it's not explained yet, but because that's going on, apparently the people of Earth knew that this was going to happen, so they flee on these kind of like colony ships. Most of them gets destroyed. You are on one of them. It's called the White Whale. It was able to actually escape because a lot of the other ones get destroyed as these 2 warring races are battling. So your ship flies off. It gets attacked by one of the alien races far away. So you crash land on a different alien planet. And now everyone who survived is trying to survive. And it's more of you're trying to go and do little missions and things like that. I'm not really far into it yet, but the cool thing about this one is you can also fly and pilot giant mechs, which you can't do in the other ones. So the other ones have their own kind of sci-fi robotic stuff. This one is you pilot giant robots. I haven't gotten to that part yet, so I don't know how good it is. But if you liked Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 from before, X is a similar style, but they're not quite connected. It's very much heavy sci-fi, whereas the other ones were kind of a sci-fi with a fantasy bent to them. Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm not too far into it yet, but it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep playing it. Check it out.
Yeah. No, I've heard very good things about it, yeah.
It's a cool port because it really works well on the Switch. So we'll see how the mech combat goes and things like that.
Nice.
And then the other things that I read are on the weekly Shonen Jump app. So there's 2 ones that I read that I really want to call out. And the first one is called Odor of the Flame, OTR of the Flame. So this just had its chapter 2. And if anyone is unsure about what this is about or who made this is the same artist who did the Hunters Guild Red Hood, which we did review, called Yuki Kawaguchi. And it's very much his style. And I opened it, it's like, I didn't read the name of who wrote it. It's like, oh, this looks awfully familiar. The style is so distinctive, and it's like, okay, this is his art style to a T. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is cool. So this theme is, unlike Red Hood, which was the grim fairy tale, that kind of theme, this one is Viking. Viking lore, Viking people, Viking heritage, Viking everything.
Okay.
And it's about a character who's a cook who isn't really a warrior, who gets sent off to the front lines to help keep people fed and warm and things like that. And they're battling a race of like frozen, like if you know anything about Viking lore or Viking...
Yeah, the frost giants.
The frost giants, yeah. And the dead zombies who are called Draugr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's Draugr, the very typical, what you would think of when you hear Norse mythology.
Okay.
It's a lot of that. So you have the regular humans who want to go to Valhalla in this big fight. He's not a warrior, so he gets sent to the front lines to be a cook. And then they're fighting all the frozen people from the north, and there's huge battles, and there's crazy things going on. It's like, yeah, it's really cool. It's only at chapter 2 so far. It's really good so far. I hope it lasts longer than Red Hood. Because
it's the earlier episode.
Yes, because it's one of those. There's not a ton of new characters introduced, and it's very much trying to slowly keep it close to the main character. So hopefully this one lasts. I don't know how well Norse themes work with Shonen Jump.
Very well.
They do?
There are several big series about Norse mythology, and there are several other series that are like not directly Norse, but like bring in random Norse stuff.
Because I know there's Vinland.
Vinland Saga is a big one.
Yeah, but that's not Shonen Jump.
No, but it is a massively popular
That
series.
is true.
No, Norse mythology is very popular in Japan.
Yeah. But apparently...
It's not obviously the most popular, but yeah, it's big.
Grimm Fairy Tales did not work out last time. But maybe this one will.
Well, he's gotten a second series, so they like his stuff.
Yeah.
They want him to succeed.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really good. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it keeps going. So the other one that I think is on chapter 9 now, which I believe is only online. This is... the name is The Creepy and Freaky. So what this is a bunch of short horror stories, but the main characters are all these cute little animals. So there's... I forget what the name of them are, but there's the main character, who I think is a rabbit. So there's a rabbit and a bunny. A rabbit is a bunny. But...
Okay.
So there's two characters. So one is a kind of like a cat bear kind of character, but one of... So that's the main character, and then there's a rabbit who runs a shop. But the shop is horror items that they just have.
Okay.
And the main bunny, not bunny, the main, let's just call him a cat. The main cat is just moved into this town. And he's like, okay, let's go check this place out. And the bunny's like, here, you come into our shop, and I'll give you something for free. He's like, okay. So the bunny is always showing up, giving out these creepy boxes. And each box looks horrific. And then it opens with an item.
Yeah.
And that item is related to the story that's told. And they're not like scary, but they're like either creepy or weird or things like that. But they're very short. And then, so there's like a little story at the very beginning where the rabbit and bunny, they're interacting. Then you do the creepy story. And then there's usually some kind of page or two of, wow, that was weird kind of thing. Or how does that story was interesting or something like that at the end. But there's so much like things stuck in the background where if you follow along, there's hidden numbers. We've only had 9 chapters, so it's kind of hard to understand. There's numbers in the background that people are thinking are related to what order these stories take place in. Because they're like counting down, sort of, but not really. And then there are hints of other characters in some horror stories showing up in other stories.
Okay.
And there's creepy things that are happening in the background of like the overworld where the bunny and cat are. There's just a random scary person hiding behind that sign that no one's talking about. There's weird stuff going on, but it's all these happy-go-lucky things. And then the rabbit's kind of like, something weird's going on every now and then. And then sometimes some of the horror things show up where the rabbit is. And it's like, is this real or is this just a random story? And somehow this person just has a whole store full of just random boxes that are creepy. And that's how they make their living. What is happening?
Okay.
It's cool. And the stories are interesting and weird. But it's like, there's more going on that's hinted at but hasn't really been explained yet.
Okay.
They're like really short, creepy stories. So if you're into that, this is definitely one to check out.
I've looked up the art, and the art for the town is extremely cute.
Yes.
Okay.
Check them out. They come out every week. Last one came out
all right.
Yesterday? Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. It's whatever the same day Chainsaw Man and all those come out. I think it's Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a new one every Tuesday. So, Odor of the Flame, Chapter 2, just came out. Check it out. And then The Creepy and Freaky. Check it out if you like those weird kind of creepy stories. If you don't, definitely steer clear of this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Yo, I think one of those I'm going to look into.
Yep.
One of those I'm excited for.
Yep.
The other one we'll see.
Yeah, give it a bit. Yeah, read the first one. The first one's pretty good. And then if you don't like it, just they're all going to be like that or worse.
They're all just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for our main topic tonight, we're going to talk about the second arc of DandaDan, which is called the Acrobatic Silkie arc, which covers chapters 9 to 17, which is the middle-ish of Volume 2 through the beginning of Volume 3, or episodes 3, 4, and 5 of the anime.
Yep.
If you haven't read the first arc, we're going to be spoiling that like crazy, most likely. So... Yeah. And I think that was our first episode.
I was going to say, if you wanted to be spoiled in detail, you could go back to episode 0 and skip over the Zelda Twilight Princess part. Not that that was a bad part. That was a good part.
Yes. But today we're just going to do the second arc. Anyone who doesn't remember, there's the two main characters. There's Momo and Kowloon.
Yep.
They are pretty much the two main characters in this one, but then they also add a new character, Aira Shiratori. She is going to become another of this little group of superpowered adventure slash monster slayers slash alien stoppers slash many things.
It's classic shonen where it's like, oh, new character becomes new recurring character slash main character team member
slash frenemy
romantic triangle partner.
Yeah, this is the start of the romance triangle part of the story.
Kind of, but not really.
Well, so we'll get into it, but yeah.
We'll get into that later, yeah.
Yeah. So then there's the other main characters are Psycho, which is Momo's grandmother. She's a big part of this.
Not Psycho. Not Psycho.
Yes. Seiko, which is Momo's grandmother. She plays a much bigger part in this one than in the first one, the first arc. And then there's Turbo Granny, which, if you don't know who that is, definitely go listen to the previous episode. Yeah. Well, not the previous episode, episode 0. Or read the first arc.
Maybe go read DandaDan Volume 1 to 8, chapters 1 to 8. It's I don't know if you know this, but it was both of ours number 2 picks for the best things we read last year, and it's like it's real good.
Yeah, it's really good.
We're gonna say one thing a lot during this. It's real good.
Yep. One word of warning, if you're reading this though, is that there is talk about suicides and things like that, so that is not your cup of tea. You could skip this arc and still be okay, but that does come up.
It is a part of it, and it is part of the characters, and it's put in well and mostly euphemistically, and they give the reasons behind it, but it is part of it. Violence, sexual abuse, all of those things aren't also not part of this. And like, hey, if your trigger warning is aliens who want to take your genitals from you and use them to increase their own race's genetic diversity, then maybe just skip DandaDan.
Yeah, there's a lot of
weird stuff in this, and because we're coming back to this and we're jumping in as if people know this, DandaDan, it's not that it's not serious, but it is not a serious dark series. It is shonen. It is meant to be funny at times. They make dirty jokes. They do silly things. The aliens are both terrifying and hilarious. The yokai are terrifying. Slightly more terrifying, but still nonetheless kind of hilarious from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in there, and I guess you could skip it, but it is, and even though it's a part of it, like, it's a very small part.
Yeah, I think it's just one chapter of this arc that really goes into it.
Yeah.
So for the arc itself, I would probably break it down. There's two main portions. There's the first portion, which is more of a high school comedy / hey, we're going on crazy adventures part. And then the last third is just complete battle craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the first part, the story takes place pretty much immediately after the first arc. There's no skipping or anything like that. So they go right into, okay, we now did everything from the first arc. We're now going into back to school, and you have Momo and Kowloon back at school. They kind of awkward phase still. They do the thing where, hey, I'll meet you later, and then I'll meet you later, and then they just keep missing each other because they're trying to connect, but they keep passing, or one goes to...
It's not even I'll meet you later, it's I'm going to go to their classroom and go meet them, but they also go to my classroom to meet me.
Yes.
So they both show up at each other's classrooms and other places to find the other person, and they're not there.
Because they're trying to talk to each other, but they just keep passing each other in the hallway without the other noticing, and it's funny because it's
cute.
Walking completely, it's like, okay, what's going on? And then they finally do meet each other because they're sitting on benches across the hallway from each other, don't even see each other, and they just randomly bump into themselves.
Yeah, and kiss.
But because
they bump in.
The bumping into each other is with their faces.
Yes.
And then Momo's friends see them. It's like, you two were kissing. It's like, that's not what happened. And then they get mad. They start like insulting each other. And it's like, right after that is when the really important things are, where Okurun's like, okay, now that that's over, I guess I'll go use the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
And he goes to the bathroom and says, now my balls are gone.
Yes, the important thing, the really important part is testicles.
Yes, his testicles are missing. However, so that was the big part of the first book where they're trying to get back everything. And then
they thought they did.
Now he has pieces missing, so he goes and tries to tell Momo.
One of the three.
Yeah. He goes to try to tell Momo, and this classroom full of people, and he's miming everything, say they're missing, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yes. And so this is just after the awkward where they've been insulting each other, and they're trying to pretend that they don't actually like each other that way, because they kind of don't at this point, but maybe a little bit. And now he's desperately trying to tell her that his testicles is missing in the middle of a high school while her classroom is full of kids. And she's just like, what? Just spit it out and say it.
Yeah. But because she's surrounded by everyone, she kind of blows him off and rejects him. And so he's kind of like sulking away. And this is where you meet the new character, Aira, because he's kind of down in the dumps, and so he's walking through the halls like, okay, I gotta do something. So he's leaving school, and he bumps into her, Aira, and she starts flirting with him, and then he gets all embarrassed. It's like, okay. But because of that's going on, it's like, okay, so Aira starts walking away, and as she's walking away, Momo is walking past her, and hears them making fun of Okurun. It's like, oh, people like that are always so easy to manipulate. So she drops a wash pan on her head, knocks her out completely. She's gone.
Yeah, it's a steel dishpan that probably holds about 20, 30 gallons of water.
Yeah, she's just gone, like, flat out on the floor.
Yeah.
So Momo kind of protects Okurun as they walk out and tells her, like, says loudly not to make fun of him, or you deserve having wash bins fall on your head.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. And so they're friends. Well, they were friends, but now they're actually talking to each other. And this is when he explains what's missing. Yes. And she cannot stop laughing.
Yes. The next 3 pages are, this is when Seiko comes back and is talking to Okurun about this. And the entire time Momo is just there, holding her sides, rolling around, cackling in laughter, non-stop for the next 3 or 4 pages. You just keep seeing her in different places. She's going,
she's having a great time, and Seiko is trying to figure out what's wrong, and it turns out there's something inside of him.
Yes.
And they're not sure what.
She uses her spirit magic and is able to notice that something is in him that isn't supposed to be there, and they begin taking steps to try to get it out. How would you describe it? She just, like, forces it out of him?
Yeah, it's more like we're just going to... We don't know what it is. It's some kind of spirit. They're going to pull it out of him and stuff it in something else, because I have to put it somewhere. So they rip out this spirit, throw it in a lucky cat doll, and it's like, it works. Nothing happens. And then the cat doll just takes off running, and they catch it. And it turns out that the cat is Turbo Granny.
Yep.
So it's like talking just like her. It's like, oh, what? Put me back. I am powerful. You can't do anything to me.
I'll kill you all. Ah.
And just like she starts to blackmail them, and because they want his balls back, and she's like, you got to do what I say or else
I will give them back to you.
Yeah. And he's like, and the Turbo Granny's like, I want for you to get them back, you stab the other one.
Yeah.
And they're
stab Momo and Seiko.
If I
it's like,
don't do that, I'm not going to give them back. And this is when you find out that Okarun still has his powers, sort of.
Yep.
So he gets super depressed and is like, I'm so bummed. And then he transforms partially to what he was with Turbo Granny.
Chases her down again, and then they beat up the little Lucky Cat doll. And then she turns around and is like, okay, fine. Because I think they then threaten her, like, okay, like, well, you know what? We're just going to destroy you and you're going to go away. Yeah. And it's like, fine, I'm sorry. Okay, give her the balls back. It's like, I don't have them.
Yeah.
I lost them.
Because what actually happened is they knocked out her personality, but left all of her powers in Okarun.
Yeah.
So he still has all of her strength, but then she's just a cat now.
Yep.
A hilarious cat who
constantly threatens to murder them all.
But she says, during the first arc, when they had the huge fight at the end over the train, when that concluded, she lost them.
Yep.
So what you then learn is that Aira was there, and she found one.
They go looking for where they would have been lost, and it's not entirely clear if she found them after the battle but before they went looking, or the day of the battle. I don't think. To me, it's not clear.
I think it is the day of the battle because she's walking by and it bops her on the head.
Oh, you're right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. The train's going by, something bangs her on the top of her head, and it's a golden ball.
Yep.
And because of that, she can start to see things. So the idea is that the two balls that Okarun lost have high magic density powers they're very important, which is why they were taken in the first place. Yes. So because she has one now, she starts to be able to see things that aren't there. And one of those is a woman in a red dress out on the field, and she's like, okay, what's going on? And she thinks Momo is the cause of all of these crazy things. So Aira, in her own way, just because she's a high school, and starts to think that she is more important, I guess, than she's a main character kind of trope where I am chosen, I will be the one to defeat evil.
She gets a messiah complex.
Yeah.
Other people have written it that way and like, yep, that's just the perfect wording for it. Whoever described it that way first, yeah, she gets a messiah complex.
Yep.
She's going to save the day.
She is the chosen one who will defeat the evil devil of Momo using crosses and Bibles, because I guess she thinks she's a vampire or some kind of demon.
Some kind of
demon.
I think she's just grasping at straws with that, and it's like, okay, let's just get things that are holy.
Mm-hmm.
She also does the gossip campaign to like convince people that Momo's a slut.
Yes, she does do that too.
But then when that doesn't work the way she expects, she gets her other friends to get her a cross that's actually a lighter and a holy book and I think like a pair of handcuffs.
I think so, yes. Yeah, because that plays a big part in the second half. Yeah. So because of the campaign you were talking about, they're trying to get rid of Momo because they think she's evil because somehow she is the one who dropped the pan on her head. It's like, she's devil. We have to stop her.
Yep.
So Aira has her friends kidnap her, and they're going to do exorcism, get rid of the demon. And that's pretty much, I would think, is the end of the first school part of it. And then the rest of this arc is now a battle.
Yeah. With
someone you have not heard of.
Yep. Hey, it's that woman in the red dress that you've been seeing that's been slowly approaching the school over the last several chapters, and everyone keeps pointing out and being like, that's weird. She finally shows up.
Yep. So they had taken Momo to this abandoned building.
Yeah.
And then, as they're there, out of nowhere, this woman in a red dress comes over and slams right into Aira and says, I am your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out that she thinks she's her mother. This isn't an alien, unlike the previous arc where there were a lot of aliens. This one has no aliens. This is a yokai kind of spirit. And because Momo has been captured, Okarun comes to try to save the day, and he gets eaten.
Yep.
Almost eaten. No, he does get eaten.
No, he gets eaten.
Yes, he gets eaten.
He gets eaten, and then...
So he can transform at this point. So he is trying to use his powers to save everyone, but he gets eaten.
Then Aira gets eaten.
Also gets eaten.
Yep.
It's important to note that this yokai, her big powers besides eating people is she can use her hair as kind of like an extension of herself. So she can whip it around, do all these crazy things with it. So she's just running amok.
Grab things, control them like a bunch of different arms, or another thing that you can probably imagine if you think about testicles and
yeah,
the gossip and the fact that it's Japanese. Like, gee, I wonder what the other thing I could be saying here is. Yeah, but she does that, and so now it's down to just Momo and her, and Momo, because she's been handcuffed and her arms are behind her back, and her main power is her psychic arms at this point is all she really has, which is still pretty cool. Because her actual arms are restricted behind her back, she can't move her arms psychically as well.
Yes.
So, like, she can sort of, like, push and shove a little bit, but it doesn't work as well with her hands restrained behind her back. So she's struggling just to keep going. And so they lose. And Acrobatic Silkie grabs her with her hair and then eats her too. Yep.
So,
and Turbo Granny's there to be like, well, I guess they all lost. Oh, wait.
yeah, because so Turbo Granny is there, and the two Acrobatic Silkie is a long name, which is one of the titles of the chapters. But so they start conversing with each other, and it's like you're Turbo Granny's like you're nothing. You're below me in every way, and joke's on you because you swallowed that cross that they had, and it turns out, as you said, it was a lighter. So they set her hair on fire from inside of her mouth.
It wasn't you swallowed the lighter, it's you also swallowed some of your own hair. Because I think it was Okaroon had the lighter and he was like the first one eaten.
Yes.
So it's like, yep, then they light her hair on fire.
But then she had Momo around her neck to prevent her from using her powers and thrust her whole body into her with the hair. So they light her hair on fire.
Yep.
And that's where book 2 ends.
Yep.
So then book 3 is really the story of who this yokai even is. They light her hair on fire. She spits them all back up. Aira is unconscious because she's not really superpowered at anything. Momo and Okaroon have powers, so they're kind of more okay.
Yes. You find out that because they get spit back out, there is a huge battle. Acrobatic Silkie tries to fight against them, but because her hair was set on fire, it's now all tangled up, and like it gets caught on everything in this beaten up warehouse, and they beat the crap out of her.
Yep.
And then Okaroon realizes that Aira's heart is stopped.
Actually, I think it's Turbo Granny because... yeah, so they get the ball back because Aira had it. So it's like, okay, great. We got the ball back. Perfect. I got one of my testicles. Put it in my pocket.
Yep. Because that's a thing in this series.
And then Turbo Granny's like, we have a much bigger problem at the moment. This girl's dead. And then they start freaking out.
Yeah. Turbo Granny reveals that basically, like you had started to say, Okaroon and Momo, because they're already so involved in this from having part of Turbo Granny in Okaroon and Momo's powers, they have more of spiritual energy that would keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
That being eaten didn't just kill them. So they're still there, but Aira was just a normal girl.
Yeah.
So when she got eaten, all of that is now gone. So she's just dead. And it's like, oh, we'll try CPR. It's like, won't do anything. Like, I know I'll use my powers and like do actual heart massage. It's like, it won't do anything.
Yeah. Because
it's almost like her soul is gone. Her soul, it's not her soul was eaten. The life force itself.
So her body's alive or could be like resuscitated, but there's nothing there.
Yes. It doesn't matter what you do. She will not survive. She is dead.
Yeah. So
that's when the whole series ends because it was all a lie. This isn't a new character. The end.
And moving on. But no, so Silkie has been defeated, so that's already over with. But she shows up. It's like, I don't want her to die.
Yeah.
Because she thinks Aira is her daughter. And she's like, take my soul, give it to her. They're like, no, you're just going to eat her again. So she rips, so the yokai, the Silkie, rips her jaw off and says, now I can't eat you. It's a crazy scene where she just rips half of her face off.
It's metal as all hell.
Yeah. And it's like, now I can't eat you. It's like, okay, that's a thing. All right.
All right. Okay.
And they're like, I can't eat people now because there's nothing to eat with. So she's like, okay, what they're going to do is Momo's going to link whatever's left of Aira with the Silkie and kind of combine the two.
Yep.
And by doing this, Momo, Aira understand who the Silkie is. So now there's the big backstory of who this Silkie yokai was originally. Because typically the yokai are based on past traumas.
They were people and then they died and then their spirit linked. And this is a common trope in actual Japanese mythology and folktales but in this world too. It's someone dies, their spirit lingers, it begins to fester, and it becomes this beyond powerful thing because it's a dead soul that has lingering attachments. And it turns into the thing it is because of how those attachments worked.
Yes. So this is where you hear or learn about the Silkie, which is not a happy story. It is a very sad and depressing story about a mom and a daughter, a really young daughter. The mom, I believe, was a ballerina, is the idea.
She was a dancer. I'm not sure if she was a successful one or not, but like it was what she did and what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like she was classically trained but maybe didn't succeed in it.
I think so. I think that's the idea. So she's doing things to get money to help her daughter and trying to have a happy life with her daughter. So teacher's dancing. One night, I believe it's probably the Yakuza or something like that, breaks into their apartment, steals her daughter, beats her up, takes all of their money. So the mom goes to search for her, can't find her, and then eventually she just dances off a rooftop. And that's the story of the Silkie. It's when I first read it, it's like, wow, that is nuts.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, this got dark fast. Well, it's not like the Turbo Granny stuff when you learn about what's really going on there isn't dark either.
Yeah, Turbo Granny is pretty dark. Like the origin of these monsters is never a happy thing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and it's some of like the extra details to it. I know it's dark, but it's kind of like I think it's like she wasn't a successful one. Like she was working as a prostitute, and so it could also have been Yakuza. It could have just been debt collectors because they were struggling to make ends meet. After she can't find her daughter, like she's just dancing on the edge of this rooftop and it's just like saying goodbye, and literally ballerina dances off the roof. But then it does something different and it jumps ahead.
Yes.
And you see Acrobatic Silkie now as the monster that she is, just out in the world, not necessarily doing anything.
Nope.
But then all of a sudden a little girl comes up to her and grabs her hand and just says, "Mama?" And it's Aira, when she was the same age as Silkie's daughter.
Yes.
She was able to see her, mistook her for her mother for a moment, and then was like, "Oh, sorry, you're not Mama. Oh, it's Papa," and then runs off to her dad, and you find out, oh, hey, Aira's mother died when she was little.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so little that she didn't really understand it, or her father didn't explain it to her totally. But in that particular time, she saw Silkie, and that's why in the beginning when Silkie came and attacked them, was like, "Oh, that's my daughter."
Right.
And it also explains why Silkie, because they did also mention this, but Silkie giving her aura / power to Aira will kill Silkie.
Yes.
Someone's dying. And it's going to be Aira, it's going to be Silkie. And Silkie's like, it's like, "Oh, you're just going to eat us." Like, rips her jaw off. Like, why would you want to do this? Like, shut up. I'm willing to do this. Like, but you're going to die. It's like, I don't care. Do it. This is why, because after becoming a spirit for a moment there, Aira was almost like her daughter. Yeah, so there's that.
Yep. So that happens. So Momo and Aira can see this, but Okurun can't. So he's very confused about everyone's reaction that's going on. And then Aira wakes up, and it's like, okay, you see the Silkie fading away. And the idea is like, oh, well, she's passing on. And Turbo Granny's like, no, she's dying. She is going to die, which means she does She doesn't go up or down. She just ceases to exist. She goes to nothingness.
Yep. If she can't move on,
yeah,
she disappears.
No nirvana, no nothing. She just
That's what
gone.
happens to spirits. If they can't move on, oh hey, shocking plot twist. Aira, now knowing this, says thank you. And Silkie moves on. Yay.
Yeah.
It is a very touching moment.
Yes.
It's a very pretty moment, and you sort of see that, but that's the end. Is Aira wakes up from dying, watching the person who just died to save her, like, fading away, says thank you, and, like, you get the moment of that. And Ogro in the background going, like, what? Huh? I don't get it. What's happening? Why is she saying thank you?
Because, as we said before, it's like, Aira lost her mom, so it's like, thank you for being my mom for me now, is the idea. Is like, and then you have some great 2-page spreads of just the Silkie and her daughter, and then them watching the Silkie pass on, and it's just like, okay, it's a nice end to the arc. Aira now contains Silkie. Silkie has actually been able to move on, which she hasn't been for who knows how long. And that's the end of the Silkie arc. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, before we dive too deep into it, how do you think this compares to the first one?
I would personally put them, if I was like trying to rate them or say like how good this is or what do I think of this, I would put them at almost even. The very first chapter of DandaDan is very special.
Yes, that is true.
It just does so much. But the rest of that first arc is very good, but there's nothing as dense and well crafted as that first chapter.
Yes.
This is the second arc, and it's going to do what DandaDan, whenever it does everything it does right, is going to do. It's going to have really fun, interesting, romantic comedy goofballness of Momo and Kowloon. It's going to have really weird antagonists that are... These first couple ones, we haven't talked about it. Turbo Granny, and we've talked a little bit about Silkie, but we haven't talked a ton about Turbo Granny, but like they both have this sort of tragic backstory to them. Not all of them will have that, but this crazy enemy that they have to defeat and some new powerful ability or thing that they're going to get, like all shonen things, but it's they just all sort of flow one into the next, constantly filled with dirty jokes.
Oh yeah.
And like, that's basically just DandaDan. This is not DandaDan at its best, but this is DandaDan continuing to be DandaDan.
Yep.
While it doesn't have so much of the highest highs, it's not the lowest lows. It's DandaDan. That's my thoughts. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think this is more of the same. If you like the first part, this is definitely just as good. There's fewer stakes in this arc, because, okay, yeah, there's the Silkie that attacks them and eats them, but before that, there's not a lot going on. It's more of like, we didn't go looking for trouble. Trouble kind of came to us, but kind of somewhat randomly.
I guess I agree with that. I think more than there's not stakes, like, Aira is trying to, and doesn't quite get there, but it's very likely that she would have tried to murder Momo.
That is true.
At the point if it didn't work.
Yeah.
And Acrobatic Silkie does try to kill all three of them. So it's kind of the same stakes as before of like, if we don't win, we die.
True. But it very much...
We didn't go looking for trouble. Trouble found us.
Yep.
Definitely.
But it wasn't even trouble that they were worried about. It just, apparently this yokai is here all of a sudden.
Yep.
There's that. So it very much, the yokai comes almost as a surprise, this can just happen out of nowhere, which actually is very important going forward because things just happen randomly.
Yes. It's also funny that you say that because Silkie is seen like 4 chapters before she actually does anything too. So it's both a surprise, comes out of nowhere, and not a surprise at all because every chapter is like, hey, that's weird. What's that weird yokai person doing standing in the middle of the soccer field? Oh, well, it's probably not important.
Yeah. There's weird things all the time.
It's definitely... It makes sense to be the second arc. A lot more stuff is getting explained here.
Yes.
I don't think it's over-explained or they spend too much time explaining it to give you the logic to solve the problems. It's done very well, but it is like okay, now we have to talk about how Okarun gets powers. Now we have to talk about how yokai work. Now we have to talk about why people want Okarun's balls and why they're going to be these golden orbs and all these other things. Those things are all sort of brought up. It's done very well.
Yes, because I've definitely read stories where, okay, we're going to explain everything. Here's just these walls of text to explain everything that's going on. That is not how this works in this one. It's very much they're having a conversation with Turbo, granted, because she knows everything, and things are not high detail. Like, this is exactly why they're golden. This is there's just, that's how it is. We're moving on.
And each chapter is mostly about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're explaining one piece of it on half of a page halfway through it.
Yep.
And everyone is just building up a little bit more. But it's never, okay, we have to stop and talk about this and explain how it works. It's just, here's the next thing that's happening. Well, why is this happening? Oh, because of this. Okay. I have more questions, but we don't have time. Chase after that thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe this is a bit of a leading question, but it's the thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
What do you think about Aira in this arc?
In this arc specifically?
Yes.
She's interesting because she's a character who is pretty much one of those manipulative, I'm gonna just mess with people, but I'm also the popular one, and I just I get to do whatever I want. And then I have my little followers who will do whatever I say. It starts off as her being very superficial.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end, you realize that there's more to her, but you don't learn any more of that in this arc.
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't really learn who she really is as a person until later. But in this arc, she's kind of like the antagonist of this kind of mini story. Mm-hmm. She's the one causing all the trouble, and then she has to be saved because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
I said it that way in particular because as a sort of antagonist side character,
mm-hmm.
I enjoy seeing her, how she talks and how she is in this chapter, even though she's kind of manipulative and then goes kind of a bit psycho.
Yeah.
But her personality takes a big turn after this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily enjoy watching her because she's I find her character kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, part of her personality changes a lot because of this.
Yes.
And obviously, as you said before, she becomes a major character in this. But at the same time, she gets weirder.
Yep.
A lot after this. She becomes a very different character than who she is because of what happens in this. She loses the popular kid, but keeps the Messiah complex. Which is kind of
just gonna say that.
That's not necessarily my favorite part about this character. But at the same time, with DandaDan, it kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
It makes her fit in better with the other characters. So
Yes.
I'm only joking when I say I don't like it as much. But what you see, if you think she's the coolest freaking thing in the first 2 chapters she shows up, you should stop reading because she's not who she is. But
yeah,
if you find her annoying, frustrating, or anything like that, she becomes something very different as it goes on. And all the characters grow over the series.
Yes. Yep.
Ira changes the most up front. And she sort of, even still, after this, she kind of feels like the moment with Silkie dying. You see her as sort of the most normal, the trauma and the struggles that she's gone through. And then after that, she goes back to the Messiah complex and just sort of covers up all of that by having this Messiah complex to me a little bit. You sort of lose that humanity behind her.
Yeah.
For a lot of humor.
Yes.
In the next arc.
It kind of fits with everyone else because Momo and Okarun and
the other characters.
Psycho.
Seiko even. Seiko. Not Psycho.
I'll get it right eventually. Seiko.
No, you won't.
Are all a little weird. So Aira fits in a lot better because she loses the bratty / I'm the best because I'm popular. And she just thinks she's the best because she's the chosen one.
Yeah.
Which fits with everyone else and kind of butts heads with everyone going forward. It's in, as you say, hilarious comedic fashion.
Yeah. And I think there's one other thing that is specifically not this arc. It's the beginning of the next arc.
Yep.
But Aira tries to make amends for everything that she's done.
Right.
And suffers consequences for that.
Yes.
It's that sort of like, I don't know if I really want to watch a Messiah complex character wander around. But at the same time, she's done things that a lot of characters like this wouldn't even be put through, even if they were the quote-unquote good character. She gets put through the ringer in the next couple of chapters for the gossip spreading and the things that she's done.
Mm-hmm.
And she just takes it on the chin. It's a very interesting arc that we've only seen the first half of. I bring that up mostly to be like, if you find her really annoying and then you're like, oh, she's going to be in this more, it's like, she's not exactly that.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I'm going to save the world.
Yeah.
And now I have hair powers. Hair and dance powers.
Hair and dance powers. But yeah. So she is a better character?
I would say so, yes.
And then, like, art-wise, comedy-wise, it's more of the same. It's good. If you like the first one, it's more and gets better, and they're just hilarious at some points. It's like, okay, we have these really serious, like, you have the serious chapter about the backstory of the Silkie. But then you have just ridiculous...
How did you not know that your testicles were missing for 2 days?
Yeah.
How did you not notice?
And then...
Meanwhile, Momo's
so
still rolling
laughing
around on the floor in the background,
yeah.
constantly laughing.
Yeah.
And you may have already noticed, but Turbo Granny becomes a recurring character as the Lucky Cat doll, who can now walk around and do stuff.
Yeah, she is pretty much the mascot of the story now. If you read the books, there's actually little Turbo Granny adventures that happen at the end of each book.
Yep.
And it's funny because Turbo Granny still acts like she's powerful, but everyone knows she's not.
All of her spirit power is in Okaroon, and all of her personality is in a cat doll.
So they're not just like funny little shorts where she tries to do something and it goes horribly wrong, or everyone just pats her on the head. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you're gonna murder us all. We know. Haha, very funny.
Yeah, moving on. It's good. Mm-hmm. If you like DandaDan, the first arc, this is just more good DandaDan.
And we glossed over it as well, but the first chapter where it's very tropey of them trying to find each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they've finally given up on finding each other, they run into each other at the end. It's exactly the kind of like romantic trope you expect, but it's still done well. It's played for laughs rather than drama. And Okaroon and Momo together, and like them wanting to be friends, mm-hmm. but not wanting other people to realize that they want to be friends, or that they might actually have romantic feelings for each other, which they kind of don't yet. So they're constantly yelling and screaming at each other in front of other people to make it seem like that. But they still want to actually see each other. It's such a great dynamic that really works well for the kind of series that this is, where it's a battle series where they go off and do random things.
Yes.
That no one else really knows about. So they have to go and meet up and get together, but they have to do it without other people catching on, and they always fail miserably.
Yes.
Anytime they try to do something sneaky so that the rest of the school doesn't find out, it fails immensely, and it's great.
We're two friends.
It's so
always
funny.
There.
Always.
And it just keeps happening. That's one of the big things about the two of them.
Guess what happens next arc? The same damn thing. And it's even more over the top.
Yeah.
Silly. It's great.
Yeah.
It is. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
What is our catchphrase from this was going to be? It's really good. Guess what? It's really good.
Still really good. Yeah. So
it's still really good.
So that's DandaDan, the Acrobatic Silkie arc. That is chapters 9 to 17. So halfway through Volume 2 to the first third of Volume 3. If you watch the show, it's episodes 3, 4, and 5. And just a public service announcement. The second season of DandaDan starts July 3rd.
Nice.
Yes, July 3rd. So that will
good.
be...
They'll finally finish the cliffhanger that they left the series on.
Yeah. So
I think
that covers not this. So this arc, the first arc, the second arc, and the third arc are covered in season 1.
I don't think they finished the third arc.
No, they did, because the third arc is with the Sapiens.
The third arc is
when they attack the school.
I'm thinking the fourth one.
Yeah, the beginning of the fourth arc is the very end of the first season, and then the second season starts during that arc, because that arc's kind of long. It's the Cursed House arc, which is longer than I think the first 3 arcs combined.
I guess that's true. Yeah, it's not. The Cursed House arc is. No, it's not that long.
It's longer though. It's longer than these.
It's longer.
The first 2.
Yeah, it is. I guess so.
Yeah.
I still feel like maybe they should have added a couple of extra episodes, but fine if they're just going to end it in the middle.
So they ended it. So the first season of the anime ends when they go in the house and start seeing that something weird's going on.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. So then the second season takes place from there.
Okay.
I don't think they've announced what the intro is going to be yet.
Yeah, I will be honest. I have not seen the anime. I've just read the manga.
And seen the intro.
I have watched the intro. I've listened to the intro a lot. Hey, one of my favorite music artists from last year is Creepy Nuts, who did the anime intro to DandaDan and Mashley.
For Mashley, did they do the first intro or the second?
They did the really popular one. Because I didn't know until we did the Mashley episode that there were 2 seasons. And I'm like, oh, then there must have been 2 openings. But I've only ever heard of one.
They did the second opening.
Oh, okay.
Bling, Bang, Bang, Born. That's the second opening.
Yes. Okay.
Because the first one is done by Knockout.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Is that supposed to mean something?
That's just who the artist is.
Yeah. No, I'm joking.
So, because the second season covers the Divine Visionary Candidate exam arc for Mashley, not DandaDan. That's not a thing in DandaDan.
It's not a thing in DandaDan. Yeah. Surprisingly.
So, second season, July 3rd, more to come. We'll cover, eventually, that story arc that they're going to do. Not anytime soon, though, because we still got one other to do first.
Yeah, this is a nice short little arc. It's continuing to be, like I said, it doesn't have quite the highs that DandaDan as a whole has, or that first chapter has, but it's continuing to be very good.
Yes.
It is absolutely worth checking.
Definitely.
Well, with that, we'd like to thank you all once again for listening to this episode of the Mudai Manga Book Club podcast. Other than where you're listening to it right now, if you'd like to hear us in any of our other locations, you can find us on Blue Sky at Mudai Manga Book Club, although that usually doesn't have the episodes, just links to the other 2 places, which are YouTube at Mudai Manga Book Club, or Podbean or other podcast apps of your choosing, also under the title Mudai Manga and Book Club Podcast. Please share the episode, or like the episode, or comment on the episode, or review the episode, or thumbs up the episode, or bell the episode, or whatever location you're using says to make the computery bobbly dupes go, wow, this person really enjoyed this collection of 2 people talking about manga. We should make this go to other people because that would be nice. We appreciate you all listening. Please make the computer doobly-doos think that you enjoyed it.
Doobly-doos.
By doing the thing that they like you to do, whatever that might be. Professional writer here. At one point, not anymore. I gotta get back to that. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, rants, or better copy for us to read at the end of this episode, you can send all of that to mudaimangabookclub@gmail.com. But with that, Louie, we're at the end of the episode, which means you now have to come up with something else to tell people about. So what would you like to recommend?
So I finally finished Lower Decks, the TV show, which is the animated Star Trek, and it's awesome. They just finished, season 5 aired, I think, last fall, and now you can actually buy it. So I have finished all 5 seasons now. It's hilarious. There's so much Star Trek reference lore in it, and the characters are great. There's actually some really interesting, there's some funny stories, but then there's some really serious, this is a well thought out story, not just to be funny.
Okay. Yeah.
It ends on a really good note. It kind of hints that there's going to be more to come, but so far nothing's been announced. I won't spoil what happens, but it ends on a good note. It's not like, and we're just going to stop there and everyone's doing their own thing and moved on. It ends in like a 2-parter episode where it's a callback from all the other episodes that kind of have been going on, and it's really, really good. And I'm sad that it's over because I wanted more because it was funny.
Is the series over?
Yes. So it only had 5 seasons. Each season is, I think, 10 episodes. 10, 12, somewhere around there. I think 10. I think each season is 10. They're like 10 half-hour episodes. It follows the same core characters. I think in season 3 they add another core character who's a Vulcan. And then, they slowly have grown through the series. They grow a lot in the last 2 seasons as characters. For the first 2, they kind of stuck in the same spot because you're kind of learning who they are and kind of watching them kind of mess up and screw up. But then the last 2 seasons, all of them start becoming better officers, I guess I would say. And they start like taking things a bit more serious isn't the right word, but they start doing more to become... Okay. Because now that they've done all of we're the grunts and we'll just have to do what everyone says, now they're the ones who tell the grunts what to do. And some of them try harder than others. Some of them just do it normally, but some of them, one of the main characters tries too hard in one episode with funny little consequences. But yeah, no, it's good. So if you ever get a chance, it takes place right after, I think, Next Generation. Around that time frame. So Voyager, if you follow Star Trek at all, Voyager has come back. So it's after Voyager series ends, but not so far as Picard. It's not like far into the future. It's very, very, very much the Next Generation timeline, right around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So post Next Generation, post DS9, post Voyager, but pre Picard.
Yes. Yeah. Not too much farther after Voyager and DS9. So it's like. Okay. Like all the characters from those shows are in it, and it's not like they're 50 years older or things like that. They're like right after those shows.
Okay. Nice.
Yep, because they got a lot of the characters from the Next Generation series, like Voyager and DS9 and Star Trek, voiced their characters. So you have Riker is in it. You have Quark from DS9 is in it. You have Harry Kim from Voyager is in it. So it's really good. So, if you like Star Trek, the Next Generation era, this is like full on go nuts with nerding out on the Next Generation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
What about you?
Yeah. So, my recommendation is a very little known game. Just came out recently called Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Yes.
No, but seriously, this is a game from Sandfall Interactive. I believe it's Sandfall Interactive. It's by Sandfall. I don't know what the second half of their name is. It's a French studio. This is their first major game. It is a 3D JRPG-like game.
Yeah.
But it's very French.
Yes.
In all the best ways. It is absolutely amazing. My computer can barely run it. So I'm not going to talk about the quality on high settings because I have it set to minimum and it's still getting like 20 frames because my graphics card does not like anything from 2015. But it runs.
Okay.
The art style is fantastic. It's this crazy world where this thing happened and this entity called the Paintress has a big rock wall, and every year they write a number, and every year the number goes down, and everyone who's that age or older turns to dust and disappears. Just poof, gone. At this point, it's been going on for years, and every year after this happens, a bunch of people go on an expedition to go and try and stop her, and that's what you are. You are Expedition 33, named because the new number is 33. So this has been going on for, I found it quite early, it's been going on for about 60, 70 years. Started at 100, it's counted down to 33, and you're the newest expedition to go and try and stop them. But it's the storytelling and the art design and the characters and the emotions and the writing is impeccable. The first half an hour of it is just you playing as one of the main characters. Spending time with someone on the day of the grammage, which is what they call this event, when they paint the number, and you're spending that time with your romantic interest that you had to break off with, and they're 34. And it's like the last half an hour of them alive, and you're just walking with them, and it is one of the best written, most heart-wrenching things. Like, that first 30 minutes, I was legit crying twice. It is so good. The writing is so good. And then that immediately turns into, you're now one of the members of Expedition 33, which wasn't like, oh, this happened and you decided to be. Like, you had already decided to do this. Like, the grammage happens and you're leaving to go after the paintress the next day. Like, this is part of what a lot of expeditions are, is it's the people who are going to die the next year anyway, so like, let's go and try and stop this. And your main character, Gustav, the main character, one of the main characters, and the one who you follow during the beginning, Gustav, is 33, and like, you watch all this happen, and immediately after that, it's the preparing for the expedition, and it's this huge, like, rah, like, okay, we're gonna go stop them. And then you go, and so much happens in 5 minutes. It's crazy. And the world that this is in, there's this kind of techno magic and all kinds of weird things that people have access to. Like, everyone has their, like, JRP. The gameplay itself is very much classical turn-based JRPGs with reaction commands.
Okay, yep.
If you've played, of all the games, if you've played Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time, Brothership, it's that exact gameplay, but you have 3 people.
Okay,
You have a reaction button to their attacks, and if you can time it right, you can avoid damage and even counter.
Oh, nice.
So, story and writing is impeccable. The gameplay is great. The visuals are stunning. The art design is incredible. And to pull in another crazy thing, it's like if Dark Souls was a JRPG, and I mean this in a particular way. I'm sure if you're better at the game, it's not that hard. But the bosses in this are very hard. And while there are items, and you can obviously grind and just power level, probably a lot more of it is your healing potions and things like that are not consumables, they're rechargeables. So every time you hit a save station, you get your health potions back. But it's like, there are so many little things out there that you can explore and find, like, that give you extra, like a single extra skill point, or a single extra accessory, or something that you can use to upgrade your weapons. And there's a lot of those laying around. And so you're exploring to try and find those and get that one little extra bit to carry you over. So that it's like, to take a fight from, this is unbeatable, to, okay, I can win. It is extremely good. This might be Game of the Year.
Nice.
If the story continues at all as it has been, this is like one of the best JRPGs that I've played in my whole life.
Wow. Okay.
The characters, the way they talk, their animations, and it's very grounded. It's very realistic people in this crazy situation. And the other thing that's really nice and that they do really well, and that's how it's felt like this whole beginning, they're all adults.
Yes.
But the things go bad real fast. So they're not complete idiots. They're not like a bunch of teenagers like, oh, well, we're going to go and solve this. It's like, okay, we're now in a hostile environment and we've lost all our supplies. What do we do? How do we get through this? Like, well, we should do this. That's a stupid plan. It's like, yes, it is. But our other option is that. Okay.
Go with stupid plan.
Go with stupid plan because it's the least bad option.
Okay.
Or both options are incredibly stupid and will probably die. That one may be stupider, but there's a tiny chance something good could come from it. And the characters, their interactions, and the way they talk to each other, it's like professional actor close up. They talk, and So few games do this, but this is one of the games where, when it makes sense, they'll talk over each other.
Oh, okay.
So, like, someone will be trying to say something, the other person will, like, crack a joke. And, like, they're like, yeah, okay, I get it, but I'm trying to say something here. Or they're, like, arguing, and they're, like, talking back over each other. And it's so incredibly natural.
Nice.
God, the visuals. Like, the second area of the New World you go to is not underwater. In that everything is underwater, but you're just walking around in it like it's not underwater. But there's like bubbles and fishes and like plants and everything like swimming around. Mm-hmm. But you're just like walking around like it's normal ground. And it's like, okay. Everything looks like fish.
Weird.
Like, okay. It's so good. It is such an incredible game. It is $50 for the base game. It is $60 for the deluxe.
Yes.
I don't know if they're doing DLC or anything like that.
I think it's too new for that. It just came out like...
They might have mentioned like a season pass or something, but they haven't mentioned that, so I don't think so. But it is supposed to be this full story JRPG, and it's weird in the best way. And it's the writing and the art design and the gameplay design are incredibly good. The skill system is so interesting. Every character has their whole own unique set of skills that have completely different special effects and different rules. Like one of them, they have to charge up to do a super move. Another one, they go into different stances, which alters their stats. Another one has magic, but depending on the magic you used before, you can use leftovers from that to make other magic more powerful or cheaper. And another one like applies debuffs that they can then turn into buffs that they can then spend to do more damage. It's amazing. It is so incredibly good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've heard the voice acting is amazing. Yeah, I have it installed. I just haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah, it's... I think I've played games that are as good.
Okay.
But...
So, how would you compare this to, say, a Persona game?
On the level of a... so, I haven't played Persona 5, and I know that's the one that everyone's played.
Yeah, how about Persona 4 then?
3 and 4. Yeah. I would say it's on the level of Persona 4.
Okay, nice.
Like, equivalent.
Okay, yep.
The writing is different.
Well, yeah, the setting and story are different.
And not even that, but, like, the writing quality is different because it's trying to do slightly different things. But I would say this. If this was a release from Square Enix in, like, a numbered Final Fantasy, nobody would be surprised.
Ah, okay. Yep.
And it would be better than... Not that... I don't think recent Final Fantasies have been that bad. Like, I've liked most of them. But even still, if this was a Final Fantasy, people would be like, wow, this is really good.
Okay.
The fact that it's...
So have you played the Final Fantasy VII remakes?
I have not. I've heard exceptionally good things about them. That's why it's like... There was a time when if it was released as a Final Fantasy, people would be shocked. This is not that time.
Okay.
Final Fantasy's been doing a lot better. Square Enix has been doing better. But, like, the best Final Fantasies, this is on that level.
Gotcha. Okay.
Everything I've seen so far has been, like... This is giving me Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII vibes for, like, the writing, the characters, the battle design, the system. Like, everything here is so good.
Nice.
Absolutely one of the best games I've played.
Cool. Yeah.
It's not the reason we couldn't record on Thursday.
No. But,
no. That was scheduled
I want to play it. I just haven't had a chance yet.
It is... I believe it works well on the Steam Deck.
Yes.
So... Because I have a random friend who's been playing it on the Steam Deck all the time while I've been playing it on my computer. It's so good. If you can get it to run, even like I said, like my computer can barely run
with your potato
it.
computer?
I've got the settings minimumed out. It's regularly hitting 20 or 30 frames. I've had it crash once or twice. And it's like, it's been my computer, not the game.
Ah, okay.
It crashed at the end of a cutscene. I'm like, yeah, that's my computer. Like, I kicked it or something. I just decided, nope, I'm
too much work.
This out. It just is so good.
Okay, I definitely got to play it then.
Yes, you do, 100%.
Okay.
It is already game of the year. If Elden Ring came out the same year, I'd probably give it to Elden Ring, but not by much.
Nice. Okay.
Not by much. Yeah. It's so good. But anyway, with that, that's going to be the end of the episode. Tune in next week, probably, most likely. I'm pretty sure it's going to be next week. I don't think it's
Yeah, it should be fine.
Tune in next week.
Next episode.
When we're going... Tune in next episode, coming soon, to a podcast or YouTube dispenser near you. By which we mean probably your phone or other electronic device. I'm going to start that over because this has gotten real wacky. Tune in next time when we'll be talking about... Oh, wait, I'm
yes, that's you.
Ayla sometimes hides her feelings in Russian, Volume 1 of the light novel. I didn't look up the manga and anime for it, but the first light novel we will be covering next time.
Is there a manga for it?
I do not know. There is an anime for it.
Ah, okay.
So with that, everybody, have a good night.
Bye.
Peace. But before that, I just want to let all of you listeners know who are about to come in and talk to me and be like, oh, you're just the person who likes Kendrick Lamar. You're just a normal, boring, random rap fan who doesn't really know about anything. You know what? Shut the fuck up. Because you know what? I have been following along with Joey Badass and with Rayvon and with Daylight and with AC Chike and, oh my god, Hidden J3 has released something today. My god, will you all please stop? I can't keep up with all of this. Even though it is amazing to watch another insane rap battle where people are releasing diss tracks within minutes of other people releasing diss tracks and responding to the things that they just said. Yes, it is amazing to be a hip-hop fan right now, and it is really good, and you should enjoy it because the music is amazing. And yes, I am absolutely a Doechii stan, and I do not care because Alligator Bites Never Heal from last year is amazing, and you should go listen to that album because it is one of the greatest albums ever released in the last year. And yes, that was the year that GNX and the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef happened. Yes, all of those things have been happening. I have been a hip-hop fan for quite a while, and I realize that I do not know a lot. But if you ever come to me and tell me that, oh, you're just a Kendrick fan, you're wrong. Anyway, see you next episode.
What a nice rant.
I listened to Damn, the album by Kendrick Lamar, 9 times the day it came out. Granted, that was because it came out the day that I had to drive to New Jersey from Massachusetts. And so I was just listening to that on repeat because I had to drive for 9 straight hours.
Yeah, so...
I listened to the same thing again on the way back.
It's my fault.